All right. Looks like we have made it once again. And I don't know, Abe, if you saw, but I put a little post this morning on Real Geeks um, referencing that we were going to talk about. We're going to have a conversation about conversion today. So I did put something out there. So hopefully those that are interested in that conversation will join. But let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to say publicly, congratulations for finishing the ultra marathon in Antelope Canyon this weekend. I, how was it? Just real briefly, maybe not everybody would be interested, but while people are tuning in, what was your biggest challenge, from doing that ultra marathon this weekend?
Well, first of all, it was beautiful. If you guys have never been to Antelope Canyon, it was breathtaking.
Yeah,
But definitely the prettiest race I've ever done. The toughest thing was, man, it was just deep sand throughout the whole thing. I live on the beach, and I didn't do much running in deep sand. Maybe I should have
yeah.
to be better prepared, but it was a great experience. It was fun.
Did you have any? Did you wear gaiters so the sand would not go in your shoe?
I
Yeah,
did not. I brought gaiters with me. I just didn't wear them. I
got
didn't
it.
think I would need them. And it actually wasn't that bad. I didn't get
Okay.
that much sand in my shoes. It was just it was hard to run at any decent pace, just digging deep with every foot into the sand.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Okay. Well, let's have a conversation around conversion, and you know, um, this is important. You as a building a team, it's important to me as owning a company. It's important to me because I do a lot of lead generation and buyer leads and seller leads, and from a Real Geek standpoint, and whether it be PPC or other forms, and conversion and ROI are critical conversations to have if we're going to be getting leads, especially if you're buying leads. It's just like you have to understand conversion, how to calculate it, understand ROI, how to calculate it, and then you need to understand what your numbers are, and you need to also understand where do you need to go with this, like what's possible. So I want to dive into that, but you want to just start off maybe, Abe, and just kind of let us know what is how do you calculate conversion? How do you calculate ROI? Maybe you can start there, and then I'll kind of chime in.
Yeah, let me just say a comment real quick before we dive into it. So this is a topic that that you and I spend a lot of time talking about, looking at, trying to optimize. And I think a lot of agents out there, even brokerages, make a mistake of ignoring the numbers, or at least
Mm-hmm.
ignoring ways to optimize them. It's easy to look at, okay, well, I've got this lead source, and wow, I closed 2 deals on it last month. The leads are great. Let me spend more money in generating more leads. Right? It's always easier to just spend more, generate more leads and more leads, but that's not always the best solution when it comes to ROI. I mean, like if you actually dove into each lead source and looked at how you can optimize ROI per lead source, you can go a long way without having to buy more and more leads all the time. So basically, ROI is the conversion number is basically the number of leads divided by the number of leads you convert divided by the number of leads you generated from that lead source.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the total number of leads you got, I got 100 leads.
Right.
I closed 2 transactions from those 100. My conversion rate is 2%. 100 leads, I closed 10 from those 100. My conversion rate is 10%. 10%. So it's the total number of leads that you've got, and then the total number of sales you've made from that same category of leads, which could be all leads, or if you're only calculating it on a certain source like PPC, it'd be total number of PPC leads. And then you divide that into the total number of closed sales from those PPC leads. That equals your conversion rate.
Yeah, that'll give you a percentage.
Yep. And so, the conversion rate's in a percentage. That's correct. And then what about ROI? That's slightly different.
Yeah, so ROI is going to be, you take the dollar amount that you earned on the deals you closed, okay? And then you divide that by the amount of spend you did on that lead source.
Yes.
Okay, and that also will give you a multiple. So it could be like, let's just say you sold $10,000 from that lead source and you spent $2,000. So 10 divided by 2,000 is going to be a multiple of 5. So you can either look at it as a factor of 5x, or you can look at it as a 500% return.
Yeah. So when people say I got a 5x return, that's kind of like you put $1 in and you got $5 back. You really made 500% on your money. Some people, especially nowadays, I think ever since Grant Cardone started talking about the 10x rule, everybody started using 10x, 5x, 2x a lot more. Not that he invented it,
Right.
but it became more popular. And especially in the real estate industry, people are saying things, oh, I got a 3x. That would mean they had a 300% return, that they spent for every dollar they spent, they got $3 in return. So I just thought it's important to kind of share that information, because I don't think in the industry, I don't think, they're not talking about that in real estate school for sure. But I also don't see that there's a lot of coaching companies really educating people on, hey, you have to treat your real estate practice. And if you really treat it like a real business, then you have to know your ratios. You have to understand rate of return, or return on investment, etc. Okay, so after discussing the definitions, I did some homework, and this is homework that that we've done before as a company. But I did some more homework in the last 24 hours in preparation for today. And I just share with you some of the research that's out there. The National Association of Realtors state that the average conversion rate in our industry is between 0.4 and 1%. Now, I don't understand how an average can be stated as a range. I mean, I thought an average would be not one number, not a range. So maybe I'm not smart enough, but I believe the reason why they say the average and then they give a range is because they don't really want to reveal such a depressing average. It's less than 1%. An average is a number. An average is not a range. If the range is 0.4 to 1, then let's just take an average and call it like 0.62. It's less than 1%. According to the National Association of Realtors, it's less than 1%. That 100 deals or leads, you will, on average, agents are doing less than one closing for every 100 deals, or not 100 deals, 100 leads. Zillow, if you research this with Zillow, you're going to see it'll say around 2%. My thought, Abe, is I'm not going to get in this debate as to whether or not Zillow has a better lead or higher quality lead than some other source. I'm actually going to say that people that are getting leads from Zillow have to pay for them. And because they're financially vested into the leads, I believe they actually take care of them more. It's kind of like, don't give your son a car. If you give your son a car, he'll never change the oil. But if you make him buy his own car, he'll change the oil. He'll take care of it because it's his money. We all know that old saying. I don't know why that wouldn't apply to leads. Like, I think leads, that if you're paying for it, that you seem to have a little bit more of a commitment and obligation to follow up with them. And I think that's why. I think that's influencing the conversion rate. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. When there's more skin in the game, people are going to show up more.
Yes.
Work harder for it. They're going to make more attempts to reach that lead, because if they just spend $60 on a lead, then they're going to work a little bit harder than if they just got it passed down from their brokerage. Yeah. But it's kind of funny, because if you bring that same approach to that Zillow lead, or whatever the lead source might be that you really worked hard for and spent a lot of money on, if you brought that to every one of your leads, you're going to get much better conversion numbers across the board. Yeah. Right. And that's what this whole conversation is about.
Yeah. The last one that I, additional other leads, like say, websites like Real Geeks. And I don't know what Real Geeks statement would be as to what they have seen from a conversion ratio. But like, if I do research and I look at different websites and portals, a lot of times they're ranging anywhere from 1% to 3% is their conversion ratio. So I'm laying a little bit of groundwork here for a reason. I'm giving you kind of like the facts, the research. This is what it says, the definitions. But I'm going to kind of go into more of an opinion. And Abe and I kind of broke this down. And so we know that conversion rates are at best are 1%, but less than 1% typically for an average agent. What about a good agent? Abe, how do we define a conversion rate for a good agent?
Yeah, I mean, so it could be 2 to 3% for a good agent. And again, so good. Let's define good, Greg. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're a top producer in your market, the top 5 agents in the market. It's really how you approach those leads. What's your protocol when you get a brand new lead? So you could take the same quality as far as skill level of agent, and one that's going to be a little bit more aggressive in reaching out to that lead is going to get much better results than someone that isn't. I mean, it's plain and simple. It comes down to the number of attempts to try to reach that person. And you and I have done calls about this, and we called it, cracking the conversion code. I think was one of the first videos we did for Real Geeks, and it talks about that. It's improving your capture to contact ratio. The quote unquote good agent is going to make much more attempts to talk to more people, basically.
Yeah. So a good agent, 2 to 3%. So if I see somebody on stage and they're saying, oh yeah, I've got a 3% conversion ratio, that's actually pretty good. Like if the average is less than 1%, like now a lot of people there's a lot of agents, even agents that are going to hear this video, that are going to claim that they're way better than 1%. But most of the time, they're not calculating all the leads. Like a lot of people will say, well, my conversion is 9%. But then when I look at, well, how many leads did you actually get? Well, I got 100 leads. Okay, but you only made 3 sales. How can you say it's 9%? Oh, well, I'm not counting the ones I didn't talk to. That's the problem. That's why, like, I think NAR's actually counting every lead, and that's how it's coming below 1%. When some people are out there saying, oh, I've got this big conversion ratio, it's likely that they're skewing the numbers a little bit. That's not to say that there's not some high converting agents out there. I'm just saying typically that's what happens. So if you see somebody stating that they've got about a 3% return and they're calculating all their leads, that's really a good agent. But let me share with you what a great agent or an exceptional agent is doing. 5 to 7% is what we're seeing is exceptional in the marketplace for conversion. Okay, 100 leads, counting them all, 100, making 5 to 7 deals per 100 is exceptional. Now, if some people could say, gosh, I mean, only 5 deals out of 100 leads, well, that's conversion, but look at ROI. If 100 leads cost you, let's just say $2,000, I'm just making up a number, and you made 5 sales at an average commission of $5,000 per, that's $25,000 off a $2,000 spend. You won't be able to buy a piece of real estate. You won't be able to, there's no investment you're going to be able to make that will give you a better return on your investment than what I just shared with you. No matter if the lead cost was $50 per lead and you bought 100 of them, that's $5,000 investment, and you made 5 sales at $5,000 per sale. That's $5,000 gets you $25,000. That's a 5x, or that's a 500% return on your investment. We're sitting here like looking for, and I like to buy real estate, but we're sitting here, well, I want to buy another piece of real estate. I could make 8% on my money. How about buy 100 leads, work on getting your conversion ratio to 5%, and make 500% investment? That's what's missing in the conversation. Well, I got, these leads suck. 95 of them are going to suck. You only need 5 of them to not suck to make a 500% return. But what happens if, unfortunately, if your first 10 leads are no, I was an accident, I didn't mean to put my information in there. If you get that on your first 10 out of 100, then you're not going to call the next 90 out of the 100 because you're going to be like, forget this. This is terrible. I'm done. But it could have been call number 11 might have been the sale. Call number 15, call 25, and call 65, and call 75 might have been your 5 sales. So in between all of those like golden calls, there was some terrible calls. So we get fixated on the 95 people that stunk, no quality, terrible, Mickey Mouse. I'm okay with 95 Mickey Mouse and Donald Ducks as long as I get 5 closings out of 100, almost at any lead cost. I could have paid $100 a lead for 100 leads. That'd have been $10,000. And if I made $25,000, I still would have done that deal. All right, now I'm ranting. Hey, what you're thinking? Calm me down here.
Well, I mean, first of all, no one ever complains about leads, right? No one ever says leads suck.
Oh, yeah, right. Only in the real estate industry.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're spot on. But Greg, that's looking at it from a business mindset, right? That's not looking at it from a technician mindset, right? That's what the numbers come down to. The numbers work. No matter what your lead source is, if you play the long game, the numbers work. Mm-hmm. Okay, the leads are going to come in. You talk to as many as you can out of them, and you're going to have a percentage that are going to convert, whether it's 1%, 3%. 5% if you're exceptional, 5 to 7%, the numbers are going to convert.
Yeah.
Okay. When you work.
Yeah, that's it. So I went through good agent, exceptional
Mm-hmm.
agent. Let's talk about not exceptional agent, exceptional conversion ratio.
Right.
But what's the real potential?
So the numbers out there, Greg, and it's hard to get an exact number because it's a difficult number to calculate.
Yeah.
But it's above 10%.
Yeah. So Abe, this might have even been before you got in, but to real estate, but maybe it wasn't. Eric went through and did some calculations.
Yeah.
And we took 5,000 leads. And I put a telemarketing team on my 5,000 leads that were in our CRM. And we called them and in a way surveyed them. Now we were hoping to find some leads, some leads that we maybe thought were dead, but were good. And here's what happened. Between the sales that we made and the sales that our competition made, because maybe we got the lead, we talked to them once or twice, maybe we never talked to them, they went dormant, they died in our CRM, somebody else obviously did something, because when we called them back, they're like, oh no, I already purchased. So when we look at like the sales that we made and the sales that we didn't make but actually occurred, the total number of potential opportunities was around 12%. People say, well, what do you think potential should be or a real conversion should be? I believe 12 to 14%. No way, man. I don't know. No way. Well, just bear with me because I'm going to have to give you a little bit more information here. So I believe around 12 to 14% is the real potential. It's over 10%. The key is no agent is actually getting the full potential out of the leads that they're buying. But between the leads that we're buying, between the ones that we contract with and then we let slip through our hands, if we combine those two, that tells me what the real potential is. Now, there's a few reasons why, and I think I'll let you say this, Abe, because you were just talking about that a moment ago. So why do you think agents are not really capitalizing or reaching the potential? Not their potential, converting at the potential, what's available to us?
Well, I think the biggest reason is they play the short game, instead of the long game. So what I mean by that is, when they get a lead, they typically expect that, you pay $5, $10, $20, $30, $40 for a lead. You expect it to be ready right now to buy or sell. And then when you realize that they're not, we tend to label them as a bad lead, or the service is not very good, and then just kind of toss it aside, as opposed to thinking about every single one that comes in. Your job is to find a way to get in contact with them, in some way communicate with them and get a response. If you do that, okay, if you get 100 leads instead of talking to 10, okay, which is what the average agent talks to, you know, what if you talk to 20, 30, 40, or 50? Even if the other 30, 40 said no, okay, by talking to more people that come in, you're going to improve your numbers. Then also playing a long game, you know, you and I were talking about this the other day, is a lot of these leads we're capturing them earlier and earlier in the process. Yeah. So over a 2-year period, what's going to happen to your conversion number? If you're calculating, it's going to get bigger. Over a 3-year period, it's going to get bigger. 5-year period. So the longer game you play, okay, and the better you're able to be available for these leads to help them, the better your numbers are going to be. Yeah. I think we're too narrow focused. We want immediate gratification. We want that immediate sale.
Yeah. You know, when I think about, you know, summing it up and reasons why agents are not reaching the potential in the area of what the leads, the conversion, the potential conversion rate of like above 12 or 10% is, number one, agents don't get to leads fast enough. Number two, they don't make enough attempts to get to the lead. Number three, they don't have anyone helping them, or they're not leveraging technology to do follow-up, like workflows. And then the last one is the one that you were kind of saying, I'll say it opposite, is they're not playing the follow-up long game. Mm-hmm. They're not understanding the long game. And this is another thing that we discovered when we were doing this inner office. So this would be some inner office statistics. And remember, I've got over 200,000 leads in my Real Geeks account, so I have a fairly good sampling. It's not like I have 500 and I'm giving you a survey sampling of like 500, a small sampling. I've got a fairly large sample or a large database to kind of come to some conclusions. But I also saw this, and I couldn't find it last night. I saw another lead company put some statistics out on their own leads. Mm-hmm. And it kind of like followed what we found with our leads. And that is this. The conversion rate of leads between month 24 through 36 was very similar or equal to the conversion rate of leads month 1 through 12. So month 1 through 12, there's a higher conversion rate of those leads. They're newer leads. We found that between month, like say 13 and 23, there was a slight little decrease in the conversion of those leads versus month 1 through 12. But what we also found is that on month 24 through 26, the conversion rate went up again and became equivalent to the conversion rate of 1 through 12 month. So when I combine all of those months, that's where the potential is over 10%. That's where the potential is like 12 to 14% when we actually look at it. That's playing the long game. Unfortunately, most agents are not playing the long game, so their conversion is really based on month 1 through 12. So I would say this. An average agent, according to National Association of Realtors study, they're going to have a conversion rate of less than 1%. Those are the ones that are focusing on only month 1 through 12. The good agent is focusing on month 1 through 12 and 13 through 23. And so they're going to get the 5 to 7% ratio or conversion ratio, because now they're getting the benefits of 2 years of conversion. The potential, which no one's really doing well on, the potential is reached when you capitalize on 1 through 12, 13 through 23, and 24 through 36 months. That's where you make a mint. And That's where your ROI is going to be the most. I say this, I wrote this down, the ROI killer. Here's the ROI killer. What kills your ROI, what kills our conversion rate is our competition cashing our commission checks. Poor ROI has nothing to do with leads. Poor ROI means that our competition is cashing our commission checks. That's the ROI killer or the conversion killer.
They beat us out in that lead. Now, you just said something really important, and I want to make sure that it didn't get lost with all the numbers, because you threw a lot of numbers out there.
Okay.
And correct me if I misunderstood you.
Okay.
So the conversion rate on leads that are 24 to 36 months old converted at about the same level as a lead that's 1 to 12 months old?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So here's one. Go ahead. You can finish, but I have a thought on it.
So the idea of these quote unquote old leads, they're useless or worthless is insane to be thinking that.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as an old lead.
So here's the crazy thing. Here's what's happening. The 24 through 36 month leads that people have in their websites right now, those are considered dead leads to that person that owns that website. So they're being neglected. So what ends up happening, those buyers, those leads, they're abandoning the relationship because they feel neglected, and they're getting captured in somebody else's website, and they're somebody else's 1 to 12 month lead. That's how it's working, Abe. This is how it's working. It's like, oh, we love each other 1 through 12 months, honeymoon. Man, these people never do anything. Let's throw them to the curve, neglect them. Then those people stray and find other relationships, and it's honeymoon period again, and they transact with those people. So that's when we go back and do back testing. We find out, wait, we had this lead. It was going really well. Then they went dormant. Then they actually bought. But who did they buy from? They bought from our competition, because our competition treated our old relationship like a new relationship, and therefore they got the transaction. That's what's going on.
Wow. Well, that's something.
Yeah. I really hope that those listening to this recording, I really hope you take this to heart, because this is real studies that we've done. And there's always a conflict, right? There's always the agents, and look, my agents myself, and I probably was this way, even myself, forget about my agents, even me, I could see the logic of not understanding this whole concept. But when I say dreaming phase, if you neglect them in the dreaming phase, they're gonna neglect you. Or if you ignore them in the dreaming phase, they're gonna ignore you in the buying phase. So when you said it early, we're capturing people earlier, higher in the funnel nowadays. We're capturing more dreamers today, and we're ignoring them. Those dreamers are working through the funnel over 24 to 36 months and becoming buyers, but they're buyers with our competition because we neglected them or ignored them. So this is where we've got to really utilize the Real Geeks tool, utilize the technology to help you nurture and follow up much better, so you can decrease the losses. I said this earlier because I shared some of this with my own agents. I said the good agents that are converting between 2 and 3%, what they're doing is they're capitalizing on the obvious opportunities. The exceptional agents that are doing 5 to 7%, they're capitalizing on the obvious opportunities, and they're also decreasing the losses on the not so obvious opportunities. That's the difference in the good agent and exceptional agent. It's not the exceptional agent is identifying more opportunities. They're losing less of the non-obvious opportunities to their competition. And so they're getting 2 to 3 plus the 5. They're getting that 5 to 7% because of that. Now, the potential is going to come from where we really fully immerse ourselves in understanding the technology and the tools that we have, and make sure that we're leveraging that on our entire database.
Yeah.
Abe, you look like I just exhausted you again.
Well, you did. I mean, those numbers are like mind blowing. You know,
What
it's
an
just
opportunity, right?
huge
Huge
opportunity.
opportunity for us.
And it goes back to, I mean, we've always said all along, look, you don't have to keep buying and buying and buying leads because they just keep getting recycled in the industry. That's what's happening. Work the ones that you have and work them well. And you've got the tools. I mean, you've got with workflows, you've got the tools to be able to communicate with as many people as you want.
Yeah.
You know,
advanced search filters, everything. We've got it. Cool. All right. Well, that's a wrap. I think we, I can tell I fire hosed everybody today. You know, I shared this with my company before I shared this with Real Geeks today. And so I kind of had a little bit of practice. That might be why I had so much energy here. All right, man.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you all.